Doing dhikr of? That's the question. Now, we live in an age of immense distractions. Arguably, this is the most distracted age in human history. Now, what does distraction mean? Well, according to the dictionary, it means a state of being distracted. This is what drove people like Derrida crazy. But the second meaning is mental distress or derangement. Mental distress or derangement. Thank you, that helps. Mental distress or derangement. Now, isn't it interesting that we're living in one of the most mentally deranged times in human history, where people no longer even know what they are? They've forgotten God. They think that this is all meaningless. And they're completely distracted. So what are they distracted from, and who's distracting them? One of the problems with distraction is, if you're looking for it, there's plenty of people that will help you find it. And so there are all these merchants out there that are trying to advert, turn your attention toward. That's what advert means, to turn towards. So an advertisement is to entice you and to get your attention. Now, social media was designed to keep you on it. They don't call it surfing the web for nothing. First of all, a web, what do you do with a web? A spider knows what you do with a web. You capture flies, you liquidate their innards, and then you suck the life out of them, and then there's just a shell lying there on the web. Right? What's a net? Like internet? What's a net for? A net's for catching things, right? So now, as somebody who actually surfed in my younger days, one of the really interesting things about surfing is you're just trying to stay on. The wave has you. You're not controlling the wave. The wave is controlling you. You're just trying to stay afloat. And so surfing the web, you're just moving, and it's taking you. So distraction creates mental distress. The third meaning in the dictionary is that which divides attention. The word in English, decide, to decide something, comes from a word which means to cut off. Decidere. Why would decide mean to cut off? Because what you decide cuts off everything else. Once you've made your decision, you're cutting off other things. And you've made your decision. And so, people have to make decisions. Like, where do you spend your time? What do you give your time to? Now, the word in Arabic for distraction is ilha. Ilha'un. Which means to pull somebody into lahu. To bring them into entertainment, which in the dictionary is the pleasurable occupation of the mind. So who's occupying your mind? Now, what you give your attention to will determine your reality. What you give your attention to will determine your reality. What does that mean? It means that if you're always watching news about crime, you're going to think that crime is far more prevalent than it actually is, and you will be scared. You'll be walking around thinking, like Chicken Little, that the sky is falling. So what you give your attention to is going to determine your reality. And what God is asking us is to give our attention to God. Now, what is in Arabic intention? What is the attention? Well, in English, it has a lot of really interesting meanings. One of them is courtesy. Like you say, he was very attentive to me. Attentions are what a lover gives their beloved. Attention is also a word for devotion. So your attention is your devotion. It's what you're attending to. It's what you're giving your time to. So in Arabic, one of the words for it is ihtimam. It's what you're concerned with. It's your hum. It's what preoccupies your mind. It's what your mind is full of. And so the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ja'ala humumuhu hamman wahidan, kafallahu lahu sa'ir al-humum." Whoever makes his concerns, in other words, gives his attention to one thing, Allah will take care of all of his other concerns. What's that? Hamm al-akhirah. It's hamm al-akhirah. So we're living in a time where people's concerns are completely fragmented. And so there's all this mental derangement because people are so distracted. Now Imam Ali radiallahu anhu said, and it's often attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, and it very well may be marfu' because it is often said with qala Rasulullah, "An-nasu niyam, fa-idha matu intabahu." He didn't say astayqadhu. If they die, they wake up. No. They come to attention. Intibah is nabih, is somebody who's smart, intelligent, because he's focused. He's giving his attention to what's important. And so intibah is what happens when people die. The Prophet ﷺ said, in one iteration, mutu qabla an tumutu, die before you die. In other words, come to attention before you're brought to attention. And in Sahih Muslim, it's "Uddu anfusakum min ashab al-qubur." Consider yourselves already dead. It has the same meaning. In other words, wake up now. And this is what mindfulness is really about. It's dhikr. It's coming to, one of the words for attention in Arabic is also yaqadha. It's to be awake and aware. You're attentive, you're aware. Your mind is present. Shum 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 shum.